Yes, guys, what's happening? And welcome to the stream. Welcome back to the channel. And I'm riding solo today like Jason Derulo for the Wolves versus Chelsea preview. The game as it stands is currently still on. I could do this preview and then after it's done, it could be cancelled and the whole thing would be void, but we're going to roll with it. Chelsea head into Molineux on the back of a poor result against Everton's C team in the week. I know we were obviously hit by positive COVID cases to the likes of Lukaku, Werner, Hudson-Odoi, Havertz unwell, who actually subsequently doesn't have COVID, which is a plus, obviously. But it's emerged in the last hour or so that another 2 positive COVID cases have occurred within the Chelsea playing squad. Obviously, for medical confidentiality, they don't say who it is, which I really don't understand because A, you find out anyway when those players aren't in the squad or aren't playing, and B, when players get injured, the injury is disclosed straight away. So yeah, I don't really understand why there's such a lack of transparency with the testing positive for COVID situation, but it is what it is, and we move on. It remains to be seen who those 2 players are. I do feel now that this game is kind of in big danger of being cancelled. Obviously, I'm going to be going up to Molineux tomorrow for the game, so from obviously a selfish perspective, as well as to all the other travelling Chelsea fans, it would be nice to know this evening rather than setting off and finding out whilst you're on the train halfway there. I mean, you see today, like Aston Villa versus Burnley postponed 2 hours before kickoff. There's just no regard for travelling fans and supporters. So that needs to change in that sense. I understand they do PCR tests and you have to wait till the morning of the game for them to come back, etc., etc. But there must be a better way of being a bit more transparent with the process and making it easier for fans. You must be able to cancel a game the evening before, and that way yes, it's disappointing, but no one's made a journey, etc. So yeah, that definitely needs to change. But back to the game, some positive news. Havertz, Kovacic, and Kante all return. That's going to be a much-needed boost. Obviously, Thomas Tuchel saying in his post-Everton press conference, or possibly even the pre-Wolves game, that wasn't really sure if Loftus-Cheek was going to be making the trip. Obviously, we saw him land awkwardly on his ankle. He kind of shook it off a bit and carried on, eventually being subbed about the hour mark against Everton. But yeah, a bit of a knock. Tuchel wasn't sure. Jorginho also nursing a bit of a knock as well, which we know he's had for a while now, but he's continued to play through. So yeah, a couple of problems in the middle of the park, 2 out, 2 coming back. I mean, it's anyone's guess who's going to play, and obviously I'll come on to that predicted lineup, but it's looking like we might have to throw Kovacic and Kante straight back into the mix, which in an ideal situation we wouldn't be doing, but at the moment, with everything that's going on, our form, the COVID cases, etc., within the squad, nothing's really going to be ideal from a Chelsea perspective. But I mean, it's a big concern. I mean, already there's only one game going ahead today on Saturday. I mean, I'd love to know if anyone is good at stats or whatnot. If you could let me know when the last time no 3 o'clock kickoffs took place in the Premier League on a Saturday, then that would be ideal. We've got Arsenal Leeds tonight, and then the 4 games scheduled to go ahead tomorrow are still going ahead as currently. Obviously, City, Liverpool, and Chelsea all playing. I still include us in that top 3 possible title race. We have slipped, obviously, 4 points off the pace now. So that's a little bit of a concern. And I can only really see us slipping a few more points off the pace. This trip to Molineux is going to be really tough. Wolves are in quite good form. I'm just going to bring the Premier League table up now. So let's just get that shared. We sit 3rd in the table. And Wolves currently sit in 8th position. Wolves with 1 win in their last 5. We've obviously got 2 in the last 5, not in great form. 1 win in our last 3, same as Wolves. But this is going to be a tricky game. I think Wolves have scored 2 goals in their last 7 games. So obviously, being charity FC and everything, we're probably going to rock up and give Wolves an early Christmas present with a goal or 2, knowing our luck and how things have gone recently. But yeah, we sit in 3rd place. I mean, there was a lot of overreactionary stuff after the Everton game. Some of it rightly justified. I mean, myself included. Title's done. It's over. Look, it's not fully over. We're 4 points off the top. City and Liverpool are relentless at the moment. They don't look like dropping any points, but they will drop points. As long as we can stay in striking distance, then we're still very much there. But yeah, this form at the moment is really not helping us. and I can't really see how it's going to change from Thursday night to Sunday afternoon with our 2:00 kickoff against Wolves. A couple of days on a training pitch is not really going to improve our finishing at all, and that's been the main problem. We're creating so many chances. We have a lot of possession. I thought the build-up play was really slow and really poor in that Everton game. I understand, it's a bit of a disjointed front three. Pulisic at false nine, for me, just doesn't work. We're putting balls into the box for one of our shortest players on the pitch. That doesn't make sense to me. Kai Havertz returning, providing he's fully fit, etc. He'd be a must to go in at that false nine position. Just someone that kind of knows that position better than Pulisic does. Has got a bit of a physical presence, holds the ball up, etc. Brings others into play. So that's a plus for us. But I mean, there's not an awful lot else going for us at the moment. We are in dire form, and a break in the league, which people are going on about, that's up to the debate whether it's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. I'm firmly in the camp that if you can get these games played and you can get them to go ahead, we need to play as many games as possible. Ultimately, if they fall by the wayside and get postponed, we've always got that option to extend the end of the season like we did last year. So there's always options and ways around it. But, as far as I'm concerned, just get as many games underway as possible. But yeah, we're obviously waiting on information on who the latest 2 cases are. I don't know if that's going to come out in the media before the game or not. I imagine that Chelsea could well be in contact with the Premier League, trying to perhaps get the game postponed, because obviously that's 4 positive cases, another 2, 6. So that's obviously Werner, Chilwell, Lukaku, and Hudson-Odoi confirmed. This other 2, it takes it up to 6 of the playing staff. And that could be more, because the other lads might not have enough of the virus in the body for it to show up on the test. So I could be wrong, but I'd fully expect there to be, a few more positive cases within the squad in the tests that they conduct tomorrow morning before the game. But obviously we'll have to wait and see until that happens. But yeah, back to the game. I really can't see a lot changing, to be honest, from Thursday night. It's going to be a difficult one. It really is. Wolves, at the best of times, is a tough place to go. They play some good football. They're hard to break down. We go there depleted, but as I said, we have got a few players coming back, which slightly eases the burden. But they're a decent side. Raul Jimenez and Hwang, the Korean forward, they've been linking up well. The likes of Adama Traore, Podence, Pedro Neto. They got some exciting young players. Ruben Neves in the midfield can do bits as well. So they've got some quality in there, and we're going to have to be at the top of our game to get anything from this tomorrow. But yeah, I'm just not sure if we've got it in us to get the 3 points. I mean, we certainly can, but on current evidence, I mean, if we can't beat an Everton C team at Stamford Bridge, how are we going to go and beat Wolves' first team at Molineux? It seems unlikely, but the tide's got to change for us on this one, because the performances have just been getting worse and worse. Starting from Watford, it's just gradually gone down. And this is not a surprise. This has been coming for a good few weeks now. And yes, injuries haven't helped us, particularly in that key area in the middle of the park. But I don't really know what's going on, what we're gonna do about our current issues, because it's clear that we're having lapses of concentration at the back. That I'm not as concerned about, because I think once we get our first choice midfield back in, then I think we'll see the back line looking a lot more solid. Perhaps not as many chances. My main concern is the big issue at the top end of the pitch, because time and time again we cannot seem to put the ball in the net. We'll have, I think I touched on it in the Everton review. We had 72 shots against Everton, United, and Burnley, and we scored 3 goals. Simple facts are that's not good enough. I mean, how do we become more clinical? That's the $1 million question. I mean, I'd love to see what the finishing is like on the training ground. I mean, it could be great, but if you can't replicate it on the pitch, it's useless. I mean, do we get a striking coach in? You hear people talking about, should we change the system? Changing the system is not necessarily going to make us score more goals. It's not going to suddenly be like, let's switch from a 3-4-3 to a 4-3-3, and then suddenly we're gonna score a lorry load of goals. That just isn't the case. It's going to be a work in progress. I think it's just our luck. Lukaku is, in my opinion, the answer. He started quite well, picked up the injuries, obviously still integrating himself back into the team. We're learning about him. He's learning about us. He gets himself back fit, and then he gets COVID and he's out for another 10 days. And it's, he's missing so much time on the pitch, learning the system, integrating with the players, etc. All this needs to get taken into account, but it isn't taken into account by fans. Well, not by the vast majority of fans who just don't think about these things and just, slag players off, which, is not the one in my opinion. But Havertz coming back in tomorrow, does that make things better? I suppose slightly better, but again, even Kai himself, he's not the most clinical. He does miss a lot of chances. He'll need 4 or 5 chances to put one away, and that's the problem. That's the problem with all our front line. They're not clinical. We're looking at you ideally want a 1 in 3 strike rate. Our players are looking at 1 in 4, 1 in 5, maybe even 1 in 6. So that's the big concern heading to Wolves is, can we actually score? I think our best bet really is from a set play or perhaps a mistake at the moment, because from open play, we're just not looking like putting anything into the back of the net. It's a real tough one, and December and Chelsea just don't seem to go together at all. We started the season really well, loads of clean sheets, looking really good. And if we're going to win this league, it's going to be built on our defence. Not letting many goals in and just nicking 1 or 2 goals and winning games by the odd goal, because we haven't got the ability at the moment to blow teams away like a Manchester City or a Liverpool, where, all right, they can let 2 in, but they'll go and score 3, 4 or 5. We just can't do that. So we're relying on ourselves to keep it tight at the opposite end of the pitch. And there's been no clean sheets in the last 6 games, which is quite worrying. But, obviously got all the faith in Thomas Tuchel, fantastic manager. I think we get carried away and forget that he's not even been at the club for a year yet, and he's already done this much, winning us the Champions League, the Super Cup, getting us top 4 when we were 9th in the table last January. So he's achieved so much, and there's always going to be blips. And at Chelsea, obviously, you come under a lot of pressure when results don't go your way. It just takes a couple of results before everyone starts circling. But, we move forward. I think Tuchel it will definitely get us out of this, but it's going to require a mentality shift from the players and everyone pulling their weight and going up a level in performance, because at the moment we're so reliant on Mason Mount getting us out of trouble. That's the reality of the situation currently. Without Mount's 4 goals in the last 4 games, we probably lose a few of these games. So it's crucial that we start becoming more of a team rather than a moments team. Moments such as, the last minute penalty, etc. We're becoming a moment side. We need to be an actual unit again. And that identity seems to be missing a little bit. But, that's kind of my overriding thoughts on the game. Have we got the quality to win? Absolutely. Are we in good form? No. Can we turn it around tomorrow? Yes, we can, but it's going to be really, really difficult, because Wolves are a well-drilled side. They play some nice football, and this will be a tough away day. But we can definitely do it. But I'm going to move into the into my predicted lineup now. I mean, this is anyone's guess. It really is. As Thomas Tuchel said when he was asked about it in the presser, it's like picking. It's just that the lineup's just a lottery. It really is. I mean, in terms of going in goal, I mean, let me just delete these players out a sec. That's slightly embarrassing. Haven't removed those. Obviously, using a little bit of an older site here. But bear with me a second. I mean, the lineup is going to be tough to pick, because we don't know who the next 2. I'll leave Alonso in. I think he'll probably play Benita anyway. We don't know who the players are that have obviously tested positive the next 2. So, it is literally anyone's game, this. It really is. So, I think obviously in goal, it's going to be Edouard Mendy. He could be one of the players. We don't know, as I said. So, in goal, Edouard Mendy. He didn't even have a bad game against Everton. He literally had nothing to do. But such was the situation, He ended up letting one in, which is a real shame. But, that's the way it goes. Mendy in goal, and he's going to need a big game tomorrow as well, like always. But yeah, fairly self-explanatory there. In terms of the back three, I have to say I'm really surprised that Azpilicueta keeps playing. I love the guy. He's been a fantastic servant to the club, but his performances in the last few games he started, Zenit, Leeds, and Everton in the week, he's been below average. He's been really, really poor. I'm not really sure why he keeps playing. I'm not sure if he's like, obviously Christensen seems to be out of favour at the moment. This contract situation doesn't seem to be doing him any favours at the moment. He's obviously not handling it as well as Rudiger is. But I'm going to take a slight gamble here. I suspect that having come on in the week as a sub, I think Chalobah's going to play tomorrow in this back three, along with Thiago Silva and Rudiger. I think that currently is our best back three. So go with Thiago Silva and Rudiger. Yeah, so that's what I'm rolling with there. Thiago Silva and Rudiger alongside Chalobah. I mean, it could be Aspi again. It could be Christensen coming back into the mix. But I mean, Christensen's not been fancied. I don't think he's played since the Zenit game. I know he got 15 minutes against Leeds, but he was unused from the bench against Everton. So I'd be surprised if he were to start. So that's the back three I'm going with, and I think that is our best back three at this point in time. Moving on to the wing backs, then we've got. I mean, Reece James will play right side. I mean, there's not really we don't actually have any other options. Hudson-Odoi's out with COVID. I don't think he would have played right wing back anyway in this game. And Aspi for me is not going to play there, obviously, unless James is one of the players out with the COVID. So Reece James has been fantastic this season. Yes, the performance levels have dipped a little bit since that rich vein of form, but that's understandable. The guy's still young, and you can't keep doing what he was doing for that run of games week in, week out. And he's still absolutely vital to this side, provides a big attacking outlet. So, yeah, his top form will return. And, yeah, he's one of the first names on the team sheet. Moving to the left-hand side, I do not want to see Saul Niguez in a Chelsea shirt again. He's been absolutely shocking every time he's played. So, yeah, I'd be shocked if he were to start in this left wing-back role. I would be shocked if Christian Pulisic started there also. And the fact that Alonso was taken off in the week suggests to me that he's going to, again, start in this left wing-back position. And Alonso comes in for a lot of stick, sometimes rightly so. I don't think he's probably good enough, but he's the best we've got at the moment in that position. And we need to address this position in January. There's talk of Luca Digne from Everton. I think the club need to press on and do that. I think that would be a great signing, and it would just add depth to that left wing-back position because it's something that we do lack. As soon as one player's out in those full-back areas, we're scrambling. And, we've got loads of depth in other areas, but none particularly in the wing-back role. So that's something that needs to change. So, yeah, I'd be fully keen for Luca Digne to come in January, but we have to wait and see whether that will happen or not. Moving into the midfield now, I mean, this is anyone's guess. I'm going to say that I don't think Ruben Loftus-Cheek will start. He's played a lot of football recently, started the last few games, and he's picked up a bit of a knock. Tuchel wasn't sure. I think N'Golo Kante is going to start tomorrow, which will be a big plus. I mean, the guy is a superhuman. He just gets around the pitch. I mean, there's not much needs to be said about him. He's just an unbelievable player, and we have massively missed him in the middle of the park. I'm not saying it's solely to his absence is solely why we've been so poor recently, but it's a big part of it. And I expect once Kante's back in a side, we'll probably start conceding a lot less goals. So I'd pick him to start. I'm purely picking him over Kovacic because he's been out for less time. I think Kova had been out for about 8 weeks and then out for 10 days with COVID as well. He's not played any football for a long time. So to throw him straight back in this game, I think he'll be on the bench. But to be fair, circumstances might dictate otherwise, and we might have to throw him in. But out of the two, I'd go Kante to start. And I think Jorginho is going to end up playing again, to be honest. He's been outstanding this season. He really had. He's been, time and time again, he's stood up and been counted, delivering in really crucial moments. I mean, admittedly, he made the mistake against Man United for the goal, but, the ice cool penalties against Leeds, etc. Just an example of how important he's been. So I'd expect a return of the Jorginho Kante pivot, But equally, I wouldn't be surprised if he did go with Kovacic and Kante in this game. But I'm not going with Kova purely because of the fact for how long he's not played for. Moving on to the front three, I think for me, it's a shoot. I mean, for me, the front three almost picks itself. If Kai Havertz fit again, I think Christian Pulisic was really, really poor in the week. I don't like to single him out for criticism. I know if you do that, you come in for a massive amount of stick from Pulisic fanboys on Twitter, etc., etc. But I'll dish out criticism to everyone as and when it's due. And he was really poor again on Thursday night. He's been really poor pretty much this whole season. And for someone that cost £60+ million, we've not got the return on the investment that we were expecting. And if he doesn't start delivering on a more regular basis and quickly, I think he could be one of the attacking players that potentially gets moved on in the summer. So he's got a big second half of the season ahead of him, but I cannot see him starting this game. So I'm going to go with the return of Kai Havertz in that false nine position. He holds the play up well. He gives some nice link-up plays, a bit of a physical presence up there. He's good in the air. So if we do put balls in the box, which I think is going to be a good idea, at least we've got someone up there who's quite good in the air. Whereas on Thursday night, we're just putting balls in for Pulisic, who is not great in the air. So that tactic just wasn't working. So Kai Havertz to go at that false nine, which I think will help the other two as well. The way he holds it up, Ziyech and Mount, who I'm going to pick as my other two starters, can kind of run in behind as well. So, I mean, Mason Mount is going to go in on that right-hand side for me. So Mount in, I mean, yeah. Again, highlighting how important he is. 7 Premier League goals this season. He's obviously our top goal scorer. 4 in his last 4 Premier League games. The youngest Chelsea player at 22 years of age to reach 20 Premier League goals in the club's history. And he's missed a lot of games as well this season through injury. Obviously, that dental surgery he had as well. So, I mean, he's just, again, highlighting how important he is to this team. And his pressing from the front is second to none. His attitude, and he knows what it means to play for the club. The only player to stay and applaud the fans at the end, the last one off the pitch. Yeah, I mean, run out of words to describe Mount. So we roll there, and then I think it's going to be Hakim Ziyech. It was literally only Ziyech or Pulisic, and obviously I've already given my reasons why Pulisic shouldn't start. So I'm going with Ziyech again. He's been in good form recently. A slightly poorer game on Thursday, like the vast majority of the side, but he has shown what he can offer to this side. And he's got a great left foot. He's a great technician. So I think this could be a game that he could well do something in. But yeah, we need these players to step up. I mean, this team is what I think we'll go with. But again, not knowing what the 2 new positive COVID cases are, it could just be completely different. Or whilst I've been doing this, the game could have been called off anyway. So, I mean, who knows? But yeah, that's the lineup I'm going with. We'll have to wait and see what the team is tomorrow. But I think that team is good, and it's more than good enough. Look, it's not our first choice front three by any means, but it's more than good enough to be able to get a performance and a result against Wolves. But obviously our performance levels haven't been there in recent weeks. So yeah, something's got to shift. Let's really hope the lads can go up a level and put in a performance. I mean, who knows? This could be the last game for a few weeks now. We just don't know. But yeah, that's just obviously my preview for the Wolves game and my predicted lineup. Guys, if you tuned in live, thank you for watching. If you're going to watch it back, I hope you enjoy it. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you smash a like on this video. Please do subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate it. We're on the road to 300 subscribers now, so I appreciate each and every one of you. Clicking that button takes you seconds. It's free and it really helps me out. So yeah, that would be much appreciated. I'm travelling up to Molineux tomorrow, so all the best to all the travelling Chelsea fans. Stay safe. We're going to be there cheering the boys on. And I'll catch you in the Wolves player ratings probably on Monday. And I'll also upload a match day vlog on Monday as well. So yeah, catch you then, guys. Cheers. Up the Chelsea.